Hello, everybody. It's Miss Donetta. I miss you guys. How you doing? I know it's an interesting time right now, and I thought it would be fun if we did some art projects that you could do at home. So I'm going to create some videos for you guys to do art at home. So the first one we're going to talk about, well, first let me say, I'm not the best at videotaping, so there's going to be a lot of bloopers. That's okay. We have bloopers in class too. Miss Donetta misses you so much. I cannot wait to see you again. But until then, I want to talk about a man today that I'm sure all of you know about. His name is Eric Carle. Can you guys say Eric Carle? Good. Now, can you say it like you're really excited? Eric Carle! Good. Can you say it like you're really angry? Eric Carle. Good. Can you say it like you're really sad? Eric Carle. Good. Can you say it like you're sleepy? Eric Carle. Wonderful. Can you whisper? Good. And no sound at all. Beautiful. Okay, so Eric Carle, this might be a little tricky because I'm using my roommate's laptop, so we're going to see if we can do this right. Eric Carle is an author and an illustrator. This is a picture of him. He was born in Syracuse, New York, and he is an author and an illustrator. An author means that he writes the words for his stories, and an illustrator means that he draws the pictures for his story. I'm going to say that again. An author means that he writes the words for his story, and an illustrator means that he draws the pictures of his story. So Eric Carle is an author and an illustrator. One of his most famous books is The Hungry Caterpillar, and I'm sure all of you have read that. It's one of my favorites. He was born in Syracuse, New York, and he moved to Germany when he was 6 years old. He went to a very famous art school in Berlin, and he brought all those artist techniques back to the United States, where he worked as a graphic artist for the New York Times. A graphic artist is someone who creates pictures for newspapers and magazines. Now, he did a collaboration with Brown Bear, Where Are You? In this collaboration, a man named Bill Martin Jr. wrote the words, and Eric Carle drew the pictures. After that, he started creating his own books where he wrote the story, which means he is the author, and he illustrated the pictures, which means he drew the pictures. Now, the way he does his pictures, it's hard to see, I know. I'm going to get used to filming this stuff, but he does a technique called collage. He makes all these beautiful pieces of paper, and then he layers them and layers them and layers them on top of each other to make the beautiful pictures in his book. That's him in his studio. If you want to know more about the artwork of Eric Carle, parents, this is the book, The Art of Eric Carle, and it talks about collaging and how he does his book techniques. He has a lot of nature themes. He has the very busy spider, the very grouchy ladybug, the very clumsy click beetle, the messed up chameleon, also a good one, the tiny seed, and he has written over 70 books. 70 books and illustrated over 70 books. That's a lot. That's a lot. And he says, I believe that children are naturally creative and eager to learn, and I want to show them that learning is both fascinating and fun. I think that's pretty cool, don't you? All right. So for your art project today, you need an old container or a paper cup. I'll let you talk to your parents about that. You need glue, a little bit of water, a brush, and a black marker, and then collage supplies, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So I'm going to say that again. You're going to need a piece of paper, a black marker, glue, water, an old cup, a brush, and collage supplies. So, but before we do that, I just want you to think about those art projects in your head. Even if you are some of my first graders and you think you're too old for this book, you're not. Because I'm 40 years old and I still love this book. So we're going to read it really quick. The Very Hungry Caterpillar. Okay? By the light of the moon, a little egg laid on a leaf. Aren't those collages beautiful? I love these collages. One Sunday morning, the warm sun came up and pop! Out of the egg came a tiny and very hungry caterpillar. He started to look for some food. On Monday, he ate through one apple, but he was still hungry. On Tuesday, he ate through 2 pears, but he was still hungry. On Wednesday, he ate through 3 plums, and he was still hungry. On Thursday, he ate through 4 strawberries, and he was still hungry. On Friday, he ate through 5 oranges, and he was still hungry. On Saturday, he ate through 1 piece of chocolate cake, 1 ice cream cone, a pickle, a slice of cheddar cheese, a salami, a lollipop, a piece of cherry pie, a sausage, a cupcake, and a watermelon. That night, he had a bad stomachache. The next day was Sunday, and the caterpillar ate through 1 nice green leaf, and after that he felt so much better. So much better. Now he wasn't hungry at all, and he wasn't tiny anymore. He was a big, fat caterpillar. He built a small house called a cocoon around himself. He stayed inside there for 2 more weeks, and he nibbled a hole in the cocoon and pushed his way out. And he was that's right, beautiful butterfly. So, for the little ones and even for the big ones, I like singing this song. So we're going to sing it twice. Here we go. The hungry caterpillar climbed up into a tree. He yawned and he stretched, and then he went to sleep. As he was sleeping, he dreamed that he could fly, and the little caterpillar became a butterfly. I'm not good at filming. I just want you to know. So let's try again. The little caterpillar climbed up into a tree. He yawned and he stretched, and then he went to sleep. As he was sleeping, he dreamed that he could fly, and the little caterpillar became a butterfly. Now, for our art project today, I would like to do a collage butterfly. So I want you to take your piece of paper, and I also want you to take your black marker, which I left over here, so I'm going to have to run and get it. I'll be right back. Ta-da! Black marker. Okay, so with your piece of paper, I want you to point to the middle. I want you to point to the middle. I want you to point to the middle. And towards the top of the middle, I want you to draw a little circle, and I want you to color it in with your black marker. Okay. And when you're done with that, raise your hand. Okay, good. Underneath that circle, I want you to make a gigantic U. Do you see that? A gigantic U. And then I want you to color in the U. Good. Very good. I'll give you a second to catch up. Beautiful. Then I want you to go and make a swirly curly like we did for the Tree of Life in Gustav Klimt. A swirly curly like we did for the Tree of Life for Gustav Klimt. Wow! Those look great! Ow! You're making me so happy. Okay. Now, over here, we're going to make a gigantic sideways U. Good. Raise your hand once you're done. Good. And under that, we're going to make another gigantic U that's not quite as big. Good. Now, over here, you're going to make a gigantic U and bring it in like that. Good. And over here, we're going to make a small U again. Oops, my U is not even. That's okay because we're collaging. A small U again. Okay, so you should have something that looks like this. Ready? And what we're going to do is we're going to do a technique called collaging. That means we take glue that's been watered down a little bit, and then we put things on the paper. We glue them on and then cover them on the top with the glue, and it creates this wonderful thing called collage, which Eric Carle did in his book. All right, so just for example, grown-ups, I want you to look at me. I'm going to show you this. Sorry, I am not good at filming. I have glue in here, and it's 2 parts glue and 1 part water. It should look a little bit like thick milk, maybe like cream when you're done making it. So you should stir in 2 parts glue and 1 part water. Then you are going to take your brush and you are going to dip it in to the glue mixture, and you're going to paint a wing. It's a little hard to see when you're painting because it comes off pretty clear on the paper. So you're going to paint a wing, paint a wing, paint a wing with the glue mixture. So far, so good? All right, then you take, if we were doing this class, I would take tissue paper or paper shapes. I'm going to use paper shapes. And I'm going to stick that paper shape onto the butterfly wing, and I'm going to glue on top of it. And I'm going to glue until it stops moving. And then I'm going to take another shape, and I am going to layer it on top of that shape, and I'm going to go, wow, we moved. Sometimes that happens. It's because I'm holding it up instead of painting it flat. I'm going to put that there, and let me paint that flat so I can get it to stay where I need it to stay. And then we have that collage done. I'm going to take another shape. I'm going to take a little bit more glue, and I'm going to paint over that shape. And we're going to paint it till it's flat. And then we have more collage. And I'm just going to grab one more shape just to show you what we're doing. I'm going to stick it, I'm going to layer it, and I'm going to paint over that. So we paint the paper, then we put the shape on, and then we paint on top of each shape. So we paint the paper. I would do one piece at a time. One wing at a time, sorry. And then you're going to put the shape on there, and then you're going to paint over the shape. Now, it occurred to me that since we're home, some people might have tissue paper or construction paper, and some people may not have those things. So what I did is I went through my husband's old New York Times that he's getting ready to throw away, and I cut out a bunch of pictures, and I used those to collage my butterfly. So what I would like you to do for this project is to talk with your moms and dads about any kind of old magazines that you have, or it could be recycling, like paper materials in your recycling bin, junk mail. Your parents will know what that means, junk mail. Do not cut anything without your parents. Do not cut anything without asking if you can. Okay? I'm going to show you the collage that I made with cutouts from the New York Times. So I went through and I got pictures from the New York Times, and I put them together. And I like to make collages. I like to try to make little funny stories in my collages, like Iron Man looking at the laughing man and looking angry. I like the word fun in there. I like the waiter being shocked by the whistling boy. I like to make fun little stories on my collages when I do something like this. So what I want you to do is to discuss it with your mommies and daddies, cut out a bunch of shapes with their permission and their help, and I want you to make a collage butterfly like Eric Carle, and I want you to post it on PS 187 so I can see it. I would be very happy to see your artwork because I miss your artwork and I would love to see it. So that's the end of this. Everyone say Eric Carle was an author and an illustrator. An author means that he writes the words to his story, and an illustrator means that he draws the pictures for his story. Can you remember that for me? I would love it if you remembered that for me. I would be so happy. Ow! I hope that you are helping your mommies and your daddies and your grandmas and your grandpas and your nannies because they really need your help right now. And I'm excited to see what kind of picture you come up with for your butterfly. I'm going to show you my butterfly again, made out of magazine collage. Parents, if you have any questions, you can message me on Facebook, and I hope everyone's well. Stay safe. This too will pass, and I miss you. Keep drawing.